following program is classified G. It's suitable for all ages.
Good evening and thank you for joining with us on Business Best tonight, and this is a platform where we showcase the best in the business, and we will be introducing to you people who have excelled in their particular field in order to showcase their latest developments in their respective industry. So before we move on to our discussion and before I introduce our guest tonight, I would like to start off with a random question about, have you ever thought about life after retirement, or what your parents or grandparents would actually do after retirement? Well, today on the show, we have a business that has thought exactly that and come up with solutions that they can give our senior citizens after life after retirement. So with that, I would like to introduce Dhananchayan Sivathasan, who is the co-founder and CEO of Life After Retirement Private Limited. Dhananchayan, thank you very much for joining with us on the show. And I think I gave our audience a little clue about what your business is all about. Why don't you give our audience an elaborate version of what life after retirement is all about?
Sure. Yeah, so let me take it very simple. You have your grandparents at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you spent quality time with them?
Of course.
Have they shared their experience to you?
A lot. Yes,
yeah.
they do.
So was it useful for you?
Definitely, I feel so.
Exactly. So that's within a family at one house, right? So that, imagine worldwide, right? So countrywide and worldwide, how big it is. So that is life after retirement. So it's actually two things, like giving a new dimension to their life, to the senior citizens' lives. Yeah. So if you take, for example, a senior citizen, right? For example, a grandfather. Okay, he will have a chance to talk to only his grandchildren or maybe his children, right? But very few chance to talk to other people as well. So his knowledge is within him and within that small ecosystem, that family, right? It's not past. So what I mean by knowledge is, it can be anything. It's a life experience or a industry-related experience, work, any experience that they have faced, challenges that they have faced. So this is all being accessed by the people, all citizens worldwide, right? So that is our main concept. So life after retirement, we take that knowledge and experience worldwide accessible by everyone, right? So for them, so we are taking much from them, the experience, everything. Meanwhile, we also cater to them. So we give them different avenues to keep themselves occupied as well. So because their health and well-being is much more important to us, so that, you know, they are very well looked after, right? So that's the whole concept about.
All right. So with that concept, how do you initiate it? How does this happen? Do you all have promotions? Do you all have campaigns? Do you all have, I don't know, how does this happen? How do you engage them?
Yeah, so this is like, there are avenues, as I said. So if you take, for example, keeping themselves occupied, there can be different ways of keeping themselves occupied, right? So one is through sharing the experience. So while talking to someone, like, you know, they should have a peer, like, you know, maybe a young person or another friend of him of similar like age group, right? So here we create that ecosystem, right? For example, there are clubs. Right, in a club there should be minimum 15 members, and there are a few clubs as well. So in a club they meet the new people, they become friends, and they have friends at that age group, right? And for them it's much more of like-minded thoughts, right? So at that level, like say for example 50 plus 60 plus people, they have very like-minded thoughts because they have done so much to the country, so much to the economy, and they are now at a level, okay, resting, like, you know, relaxing periods. At that time also their mentality is always, we should do something, we should give back to the country, something like that mentality. So imagine 15 people, 15 plus people meeting together with that you know, thought pattern, and also having a bit of fun and all, like a friends group or something. So that ecosystem is going to create a very happy environment there, right? So with that, lot of problems are also being addressed in that case, and there's a lot of opportunities. If I take opportunities, right, say for example, now say if there are 15 members, one member would want his friends, like one of his friends also to be part of this club, right? And also they could do business. After retirement, a lot of people do businesses. So they could find another opportunity within that group of people, another business opportunity. This is one opportunity, right? And their family side of it, like, family friends and all, their one member's family can become another member's family friends, right? So that people to people interaction is much encouraged here. So because these days everyone is on laptops, mobiles, with this pandemic also everyone is on internet, mobile and all. It's like they are frustrated, right? So for them this will be like, an additional boost for them, okay, interacting with people. So getting back to the, not exactly to the old age, but encouraging that human interaction. So through this automatically it grows because people love that. So we don't need to push it for promotion or anything. If one person actually can experience this, right, just need to come for one meeting and see, they will definitely refer their friend. They also want their friends to be part of it. So that we have seen. So that's our, the turning point there. Like, promotion and all plays a very lesser role where compared to, getting that ecosystem built automatically.
Right, then, and what is your vision at the moment, and what was the inspiration that came for you to start up this?
So it was actually co-founders, like we're three of us. So Raghulan Dharmakula Singham, Brigadier Japana Jayavarthana, and myself, right? So actually what happened was initially the very first start was it was a job portal, right? So initially we wanted to facilitate job opportunities for senior citizens. So that was Brigadier's idea. So he brought that idea to Raghulan, and Raghulan was into community building, so he said yes, let's do. And then it grew bigger, like job opportunities, and then seminars, then where like smart senior citizens training programs where they had like how to use mobile apps like Skype, WhatsApp, because you would have come across people, senior citizens asking, like they want to talk to their children abroad, overseas, so they want to know how to use Skype, they would ask help. So we want to do that as a training. So a lot of people, actually 40 people, this was before pandemic, so 40 plus people per seminar was our numbers, I bet, by then. So it was going very successful, and then I jumped in, and then Raghulan said, okay, there is a concept like this, would you like to work? It's all about, senior citizen and this thing. So it's all about happy money. The word I still remember is, he said happy money, right? So like what do you say, it's not about, very commercial concepts or anything like that. It's a commercial model, of course, because we want to make it sustainable, financially sustainable. But still that call that triggered me, okay, there is something interesting in this, I want to go try it out. So then I popped in, came up with new ideas, we started this club model and all, went very well. And now like we are actually known to like, quite a few people now. So we are expanding, still growing. But what we see from the senior citizen, the members, how they react, and the happiness that they have is our payout. So of course, like that is when you experience it, it's very much like that you have achieved it, something, that kind of thought. So right. That's the outcome you get out of it.
Definitely. Now when you consider the emotional factor, yes, definitely you're going to get a satisfaction out of it. But when it comes to the business side, why did you want to focus on the senior citizens rather than the youth or the middle-aged group? True.
So ideally, when you take the statistics that's on the internet and on the world, United Nations has proposed, like that's worldwide. Okay, the senior citizens population is growing, like from 1980 to 2015, it has doubled. Okay, so it has come from around 382 million to around 1 billion, right? And then from now onwards, as at now to another 2050, it will again double. So that's the projected forecast. So that is closer to 2.1 billion of population. Out of a total of 7.8, say for example 7.9 billion, if you take it 8 billion, 2 billion is actually around 20% of the population, and it's growing, right? So imagine 2 billion people, their knowledge and experience pooled into one platform, how worth it is to a person, any person, like any citizen of the country. Maybe it's a young person or a husband and wife, anything, because their life experience, right? It's even if you take parenting, like if a question pops up, you always ask your mother how to do this, what can I do here, I have a problem like this. So that experience you have worldwide, that knowledge pool. So that was the whole vision of it, to bring it to them and creating a better world for them. So our tagline goes as creating a new dimension to their life, so to the senior citizens' life. So it's beautiful, make it more interesting and fun.
All right, Dhanan. Thank you. I think our audience got a very good introduction of what Life After Retirement Private Limited is all about. So with that, we'll have to move on to the second segment right after this break. You're watching Business Best. Welcome back to Business Best, and we finished our first segment early and we had a very good introduction to what life after retirement was. And with that, Dhananchayan Sivathasan, who is the co-founder of Life After Retirement, I would like to move on to our second segment. And I would like to ask you, what was the response initially that you received from our senior citizens? Were people accepting this concept? Were there any criticism, or did they accept it wholeheartedly?
So yes, so it's both ways. Now say people who actually understood the concept, they wholeheartedly accepted it, right? So the main thing was Zoom. When it came to Zoom, during the call, the initial call, right, the first call that we make to the member, when we proposed, let's say something like this, they said, sorry Putta, Zoom won't work. I don't know to Zoom. I don't have Zoom, something like that. And then some people, they say, sorry, we don't want insurance. It's not at all insurance, but they get that understand, because whenever there's a lot of people, they have approached, right? So they take it the similar way. So people who come to, we have something called LA briefing sessions, right? So LA briefing sessions, we take through the whole concept in detail, and we show a video of how the club functions and all. So those people, they understand the model. From them, we got 100% acceptance, right? So initially, like when they say, okay, when can I pay and join? Can we start it now? So they have that push, because they were like so interested to see, okay, something like this is happening, because this is not charity. It's something like not any other clubs. I'm not putting anything, but it's all about a friendship, a movement with friendship, right? So that's what they liked it, and they were so keen to join. So it was a very positive initiative after that, after they understand the concept. And there are a few drawbacks, still they wanted no Zoom, they want to meet physically, because actually our model best works when they meet physically. If you see Zoom, there are these drawbacks, like you can't, only two people can converse at a time. So in a physical meeting, actually we had few physical meetings. It was very, very interesting, because when one person talks, the other person puts up a point, and then there's a lot of laughter and fun there. So that's the difference in experience. But people still, when they got to know each other, then Zoom is also getting much more interesting.
Is there a specific age group that you all are focusing on?
So we are currently focusing on 50 plus, right? So age of 50 plus, not a maximum of, but so minimum 50 plus. But this not only for retired people. So this who are planning their retirement as well as retired. Although it says life after retirement, the vision is to make the life after retirement beautiful, right? So it's always for people who are planning the retirement and also have retired.
Right, then. I think with the discussion we had previously before the program, you said that you all are encouraging the youth also to join these sessions. And exactly. Could you tell our audience what the purpose is?
Yeah, so as I told before, younger generations, all the youth and all, like they now say, for example, their experience, right? The senior citizen experience I talked about, they are much more worthy for them. So even though they are not tech savvy, but certain things will be very much useful for them, right? So when they attend a meeting, they can go into different opportunities. So they can, even another member could be a CEO of a company, who could hire him, right? And one person could ask for can you be my mentor? Right, so I am into finance, you are also in a finance expertise, can you be my mentor, can you guide me? So that sort of support they will get. So we don't charge, actually membership fees is only applicable for senior citizens. For youngsters, we encourage them to come, sit with them and have a chat and all. So it's a totally different experience so we are creating that as well. So
it's basically exactly. Passing on the torch, as you said.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges that you faced initially when you're starting this up, and especially with this pandemic? You can't have face-to-face interaction or assemblies or anything of that sort. So what are the solutions that you have come up with to move on?
So initially we came across with getting the membership form signed, because a club which has already met of course, yes, we would have got the physical membership form signed. That was the very first initial small step. Now we are working on the digital memberships where they can pay online and get in. And the Zoom club meetings, we are getting the club meetings, we are actually making it Zoom. So if currently we have put a rule completely on Zoom because of the given risk situation, but still when each and everyone, now there's an agenda there, everyone has to introduce each and everyone in all the meetings. So they automatically remember the names and what they do and what background they are. So and also when they share their life experience on all the meetings, two members will be sharing their life experience. With that, they will get to know each other better. So Zoom will actually work. When we see the future, it's going to be much of Zoom only because pandemic we can't predict when it's going to end. So rather we get prepared for it.
All right, so now you're definitely dealing with senior citizens face-to-face and online or what sort. What would you say are the major challenges that senior citizens are facing at the moment?
So if you break it into two, right? So senior citizens in the city, senior citizens of the city, right? Rural areas. So let me talk about senior citizens in the cities. Right, so they are more or less bit occupied, but the opportunities they get more chance through this, right? But still, how many of them will be facing their children will be with them, but still they have work, they are piled up. They might not have time to speak to them, right? So they don't have much quality time to speak to them. And maybe if it is a single grandmother, single grandfather, so right, so they will be frustrated because they don't have another peer to talk to. Because most of them have moved out from rural areas to come to city, right? So their friends are very less. So when they are at home, they don't have anything to do. They have to pass on these 16 to 20 hours. How are they going to pass? Without friends and all. So those are the challenges the people in city they face. And much more opportunities comes in line with the business. I talked to you about the business opportunities, friendship, family, friends and all. So those are the other things we address. If you take rural areas, there's a lot of things like they are more of a field workers, right? So after the work they don't have anything to do. Now say only thing they have family arguments, problems. Sometimes if they are alone they get frustrated. There are a lot of suicides happening. I think another organization called Sumitra is working on it. They're working very well. There's a very good improvement in that. So likewise we also want to take control of that kind of members as well. So they have friends. We create that ecosystem there as well. So they will have more opportunities to work with and more friends to talk with. So that's what we want to do.
All right, Dhanan, coming back to that age group that you mentioned, you said 50 above, anyone is welcome. But when you're collaborating these assemblies or these meetings, definitely 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 80-year-olds even can join this meeting. So have you had difficulties in making them friends, or were there any differences between them when they are collaborating with each other?
Actually, so far we haven't faced anything as such, but actually it was very much positive reactions. Like for example, I will take real example. So our founder, right, Brigadier Japana Jayabathana, was in a club, and similarly his junior was also in the club, right, who was in the same school. So they were happily friends enough. And the world, if you say the country is very small, right, one person will be connected within 5 touch points, right? So I know this person, you also know that person, I know you. That I have seen in all members. So each member knows somehow has a common person, maybe with 2 touch points, 3 touch points, they have a common person. So they easily mingle. So the age is not a barrier there. Once they pass that 50, they take on that very open friendship. So that's what we saw. There's no age reason, but of course they give the respect. If there's a 90-year-old, we have 90-year-old people now, so they give that respect, but still it's very
all right.
convenient for them.
What would you say is the competitive advantage that you all have so that people should trust you? Because definitely you all are playing around with one of the most crucial and critical time periods of a human being's life, and which is the latter part of their lives. So what would you say the advantage that you all have for people to trust you all?
Say those who have been part of it will have experienced it, and they have trusted us, and they're always with us. So everyone members is happy, they're always saying, okay, we will support this, we'll grow this together. So they get that ownership, right? In terms of other people, other senior citizens who don't know about the thing, why they should trust us is because this is now, say, a charity is different from business. Of course, they can say you are running a business. Actually, you are making profit out of us. It's actually no. We're not making profit out of them. We are making it a financially sustainable model where wherever it grows, worldwide or anything, like it goes to worldwide, we are financially sustainable because we will have all the funding ready, profits ready to make it continuous process. It never stops there. Even if I'm not there, if Raghulan is not there, Brigadier is not there, it will still function. That's what our goal is. So that's where we are working on in a business model, right? Rather than a charity model. I'm not saying charity will stop or anything, but still we want to make it financially sustainable. So that's what the business comes in. So other than that, members will always get their benefits and they will be happy with us.
Right, okay. First of all, would you say that y'all have competitors in the first place? Because this is something that I've heard for the first time and y'all have covered basically everything. So would you say that y'all have a proper competition at this point?
Actually, there are certain organizations who does similar things, but not the whole concept, but part, right, they do. But still, we don't see them as competition because they are doing something good. Actually, we will support them, will not discourage them, we will not see them as competitors, maybe collaborators, right? So we can facilitate our club model to their members, right? Even if it is a old age home or something, we can facilitate that model, because they're thinking positive things and these small elements coming in. This comes through with a lot of knowledge and experience, right? So these models we can facilitate them with them. So I would say there is no competitors for us. So if it's all about happy thing that we are doing, so no competitors, everyone is a collaborator here.
Okay, Dhanan, so I think we've reached to the end of our program. So before we end, my final question for you is, what is your next step? Do you have any future goals in mind for the next year or so?
Yes, by 2020, our plan is to reach at least 5,000 members within Sri Lanka, senior citizens. And then within the year itself, we want to get into Maldives and India as well. Because I was telling you, it's not only the local concept, it's going international as well. So these two countries are our target for next year.
Okay, Dhanan. Then that's unfortunately this is all the time we have on the show. And I want to thank you once again for joining with us on Business Best. And I wish you all the very best with your business as well.
Thank you.
And that was our episode tonight on Business Best. We will be back again next week on Fridays at 7 p.m. Don't go anywhere because the blueprint is up next, where you can get some useful business tips and tools. I'm Suzanne Shenali. Until then, stay safe and have a good night.